Hey, welcome to another class of Tuesday Night Beer School with me, Chad, and
Christina.
yeah, who I should say, as always, been here the last several classes.
Long time.
Yeah. All right, so we are doing style 30A, spice, herb, or vegetable beer. It should be and or, because you could have technically all three. Often called spice beer, regardless of whether spices, herbs, or vegetables are used. Overall impression, an appealing fusion of spices, herbs, or vegetables and beer, but still recognizable as beer. The SHV character should be evident but in balance with the beer, not so forward as to suggest an artificial product like, I was going to say 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, but I don't think, is there any pumpkin 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏s? I don't know.
I wish.
All right, so let's skip down to comments. The description of the beer is critical for evaluation. Judges should think more about the declared concept than trying to detect each individual ingredient. Balanced drinkability and execution of the theme are the most important deciding factors. The SHVs should complement the original style and not overwhelm it. Base style attributes will be different after the addition of SHVs, then I expect the beer to taste identical to the unadulterated base style. I mean, that's pretty obvious, obviously. Say, we'll go to vitals, not much there. It just says all vary depending on the underlying base beer. And commercial examples, it's funny because most of these are like coffee stouts, a flour IPA, yeah, coffee and chocolate and stuff like that, which is similar to the beer we're using. Westbrook Brewing Company Mexican Cake Imperial Stout. It says it's made with cocoa nibs, vanilla beans, cinnamon, and habanero peppers. I mean, technically chocolate and vanilla are spices because they're adding flavor. They're not, increasing the alcohol or anything. They're not fermentables. And this is a 10.5 ABV. Now, Chris is very familiar with the Imperial Stout base style. So let's see how she likes a molè. Wow, look how dark that is.
That is really dark.
Yeah. Normally we do all this off camera, but
Wow.
yeah.
That's delicious.
All right, so as always, we start with aroma, so let's give it a whiff. I mean, I definitely smell chocolate. Do you get the cinnamon or the peppers at all?
Not getting cinnamon, I am getting pepper.
Yeah, to me, actually, when I say by chocolate, I think it's really like vanilla.
Yeah, chocolate vanilla.
Any chocolate candy is made with vanilla of some sort.
Maybe like a chocolate liqueur
Yeah.
or cordial.
Do you get any kind of like roastiness? Because like this is an
Yes.
Imperial Stout, so you want to pick up on that intense, deeply roasted malt. Yeah, it has like almost a bit of a cherry kind of thing going.
Cherry roast.
I don't think I would describe it as coffee though. It's not well,
It's not coffee. I'm getting more like
it's kind of like a coffee house kind of smell, like when you walk into Starbucks, but not the
delicious.
actual.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't
It's not like when you brew coffee at home.
exactly, or like iced coffee or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, they got the Imperial Stout down as far as the aroma, but that cinnamon and the peppers to me are very subtle, and I think because it's chocolate, vanilla, cinnamon, and peppers, and like you really should be able to pick out all four.
I'm not getting cinnamon at all, personally.
Yeah, to me they're just really subtle. I mean, like it says overall, like the comments, it said not trying to detect each individual ingredient just for the overall presentation. But I mean, so they're calling this a Mexican cake. I mean, it definitely has like a cake kind of smell. I think it's just to me, it's kind of lacking the Mexican part a little.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what the specs say for aroma. Varies by base style. The SHV character should be noticeable in the aroma. However, some SHVs have stronger aromas and more distinctive than others. Okay. Like I said, like I got the chocolate and vanilla, but not so much the cinnamon and pepper. So,
Right.
All right. Allow for a range of SHV character and intensity from subtle to aggressive. Hop aroma may be lowered than in the base style to better show the SHV character. The SHV should add an extra complexity, but not be so prominent as to unbalance the resulting presentation. For me, this is kind of low. I'm gonna go 8 out of 12.
Yeah, I think it's almost there. I'll give it a 9.
9? Okay. All right, so we'll move on to appearance. I mean, well, you saw it when we poured it. That was definitely one of the blackest beers I've ever seen.
It's dark.
Inky, spent motor oil.
Yep.
And big relatively speaking. I would call it straight up brown.
It's a brown head.
Yeah, brown foamy. Yeah. To me, it's a good looking beer. Like it's not. You don't see like sediment particles or anything floating around.
No.
All right.
It's just dark.
So let's see what the specs say for appearance. Varies by base style and special ingredients. Lighter color beer may show distinctive ingredient colors, including in the head. Like a lot of times you get like purple or magenta or like for blueberry beers and things like that.
Yeah.
Obviously the ingredients didn't affect the appearance on this beer. Variable clarity, although haze is generally undesirable, some ingredients may impact head retention. All right, well, I'm going the full 3 out of 3 on appearance on that.
It's a 3.
Yeah. The ingredients added nothing to the appearance, but it is, I would say that's a great looking Imperial Stout.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we move on to the best part of the review. We get to taste it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, my first impression is that it lives up to the cake part, because to me it was very fudgy. It's it's just like a pretty rich, like authentic chocolate. Like there's so many things that are chocolate flavored that has like that kind of chemical kind of taste. Although I would say like probably most of that is actually vanilla. So yeah, it's like really a rich vanilla. The cinnamon and the habanero, I mostly just get them kind of in the aftertaste. Like my throat is very warm.
The habanero is very much in the back. We've had some beers where it's very forward and spicy, and it's just kind of lingering there.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I think to me, the cinnamon is more prominent than the habanero.
I'm surprised, because I didn't smell it, but I can taste it.
Yeah, it's funny, because you wouldn't think chocolate and cinnamon would work, but like, so up front, fudgy chocolate, and then that cinnamon kicks, kind of adds like, I always find cinnamon, oddly enough, kind of gives like kind of like a cherry kind of flavor.
Yeah, that could be what it is then, because it is kind of cherryish, but it's like a dark chocolate, a rich dark chocolate.
And the habanero doesn't really, as far as I can tell, doesn't really add much as far as flavor, but it's just the warming sensation. Like, is your throat really warm? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it works.
Yeah. I would prefer, I have had this beer a few times before, and I remember the pepper being like way more prominent. Once more.
Sure.
And I think this is, fairly warm enough that, all the ingredients should be coming out by now. I actually get quite a bit of hops in here too. Has like, I almost call it like a slight kind of citrusy thing going.
Yes, I just got that.
Although it's funny because habanero, the actual pepper, it does, if you take away the heat, it actually does have a slight citrusy flavor to it. I used to grow habaneros.
Seems to be getting a little bit spicier the longer I drink it.
Yeah, as it's warming up, it's almost getting like cloying sweet.
Yeah.
It's very very sweet. It's also, I would say it's got enough hops for balance. Or at least attempt at balance.
It's got a malty.
That cinnamon, and between the cinnamon and the habanero, it's warming my throat. Plus, this is 10.5 ABV, so all three of those ingredients are going to warm me up a little.
Despite it being that high, though, 10.5, it's drinkable. Like it could be dangerous. And
I do get a lot of like lovely, rich, like that roasted malt. Like it's an Imperial Stout.
Yeah.
It's not, to me, it's not coffee.
It's all there.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's not super spicy, I think makes it more approachable.
Yeah. It's got enough spice for you to notice for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not overwhelming, or it's not, upstaging everything.
Exactly.
All right, so let's check the specs for flavor. Varies by base style. As with aroma, distinctive SHV flavors should be noticeable and may range in intensity from subtle to aggressive. All right.
Okay.
Some SHVs are inherently bitter and may result in a beer more bitter than declared base style. I don't think any of the flavors here, all the bitterness here is from the hops, and I would say the cinnamon adds like a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Lost my place. Bitterness, hop, and malt flavors, alcohol content, and fermentation byproducts such as esters Should be appropriate for the base style, but be harmonious and balanced with distinctive SHV flavors present. So, I mean, I think this is working really well. Because you wouldn't think chocolate and peppers would, well, if you've never had mole, but
yeah, mole.
I mean, they're calling this Mexican cake,
Uh-huh.
and it didn't really smell like Mexican cake, but to me, it definitely tastes like Mexican cake.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go pretty high on the flavor score, scale of 1 to 20. I'm gonna go, I think 17.
I'm gonna give it a 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about mouthfeel. Let's give it a quick. I'd say it's like,
Medium full?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's about medium full. It's not super thick.
No.
It's way more smooth than crisp. Carbonation fairly low.
It's low.
But I will say this absolutely does have the mouthfeel that you would expect in Imperial Stout.
Yeah, I wouldn't describe it as syrupy or anything like that.
Yeah. The spices didn't affect the mouthfeel at all, but yeah, that's a really comfortable, and it's like for the Imperial Stout, that's how an Imperial Stout should feel in your mouth. Certain specs on mouthfeel. Varies by base style. Noticing a theme here?
Yes.
SHVs may increase or decrease body. I think they should explain that a little better. Although, well, you kind of have to know that to pass the entry exam, so I guess they assume you know it. Some SHVs may add a bit of astringency, although a raw spice character is undesirable. Yeah, I'm not getting astringent. I've had a lot of homebrews like that where people threw like way too much ginger or whatever in there, just like totally drying you out. To me, like I said, mouthfeel is that of an Imperial Stout, and not only that, but it's a comfortable, satisfying drinking experience. So I'm gonna go the full 5 out of 5 on mouthfeel.
5 out of 5. Yep.
All right. So overall, it's weird because like I think this is a great beer, and it just, as good as it tastes, the aroma was a little lacking. So I think I'm gonna say 9 out of 10. What do you think?
I mean, that's high. I would
Yeah.
do a 9 out of 10 as well.
Maybe I'll go 8.
Okay.
All right. Give us a minute to tally the scores, and we'll be right back. I got a 42. Chris gave it a 45. That's like Hall of Fame.
Especially for a stout.
Yeah.
They can be hit or miss for me. But
Yeah. Actually, I had to get this beer in New York and smuggle it down in the suitcase.
which is a real shame because
I wish I could get this here, but
I like this one a lot.
yeah.
So
Oh, I'm glad because not usually a huge fan of big dark beers.
nope,
So
this one's good.
all right. So you got any questions, comments, or whatever? Let me know in the description or in the comments. I'll write the description. Thanks again to Chris for joining me. We'll see you next Tuesday. Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.
Somebody brewed it, Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Reviews. Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.